Thanks for staying with us now. Enhancing women's participation in development is essential not only for achieving social justice, but also for reducing poverty. Worldwide experiences show clearly that supporting a woman, supporting a stronger role for women contributes to economic growth, it improves child survival and overall family health, and it reduces fertility, thus helping to slow population rates, growth rates. Now, in short, investing in women is central to sustainable development, and yet, despite these known returns, women still face many barriers in contributing to and benefiting from development. The barriers begin with comparatively low investment in female education and health. They continue with restricted access to services and assets, and they are made worse by legal and regulatory constraints on women's opportunities. As a result, the worldwide progress in development overall over the last 3 decades has not translated into proportional gains for women. So what role do you think a woman or women play in economic and development in terms of social change as well in any society? Now, let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right, so I'm going to bring in a guest in a minute. So when I saw this topic, the role of women in economy and social change, I just thought to myself, So I had an interesting meeting today. Okay. And the meeting went like, why women? Why do you think, you know, it should just, your team should be a team of women? I was having a chat with some people and they were asking, why are you all women on the team? And I said something. I said, see, first of all, as a woman, not only are we nurturers, right? I think we have the capacity to endear people. We have the capacity to be able to reach more people. I give an example. I remember when, because I used to volunteer a lot with NGOs to go and do social work, where we'd go to different schools to go and talk to young people. I remember whenever we arrive on the scene, you know, we're pretty women, looking young and fly and all of that. All the children are like, waiting to hear. But the few times that we've gone with a man in our team, it's almost like, nobody, so what are you saying? You're so rigid.
Are you talking about feminine power now?
Yeah, so I think there's just something about women that just endears you.
That appeals to everyone,
yeah,
right?
That appeals more to a larger population, right? So because people think women should just be kept, some people, because the world is changing. Some people feel the role of a woman is just be in the background, but we are seeing that it's fast changing, and we're seeing
it's many.
and we're seeing how powerful, you know, the few women that have been given or that have taken the lead to take some opportunities that has been presented. We are seeing how much impact, how much change that is being brought to the fore. I mean, take Dora Queen, for instance.
I was going to talk about her.
There is no way you will talk about impact, Dr. Adadevo, bless you, Dr. Stella Adadevo, you know.
Yes. That you can't talk about.
There is no way you would talk about impact of women in any economy or social change that you would not mention those women. Okay. Are you talking about Mother Teresa? Are you talking about what's called Malala? Who else are you talking about? So many women.
Even Princess Diana, you know, let's take it a bit farther down. But the key thing is this, that women have a huge role to play in the society, and we cannot be overemphasized what the role of a woman is as a nurturer, as a leader, as a homemaker, as, you know, we have different things that actually try to hold us down. Let's not go to the cultural aspect, which is one of my fan base, but we need to rise above the society and look beyond what the society is telling us to be and face the challenges without, you know, it's not like taking it by force, but we need to put ourselves out there in the right order and get our message across.
So Elsie, quickly,
as a
I need to bring in our guest.
I hope my code will let me speak. But I like that you mentioned culture, and I think that is a conversation that should probably go deeper sometime, because Uti will always tell you that culture is not a static thing, it evolves. And I was listening to a speech by Chimamanda Adichie today. She gave the speech at Igbo conference this year. I think that's the 7th year. And she was talking about how when we want to hold women down, we always go back to culture to say this is what it is. And you know, she went back to Yale to do a master's in history or something. So according to her, Yale has the most robust history archives when it comes to Nigeria and Africa. I don't know how that happened, but they have the most authentic and robust. And she was saying that even when it gets to, first she mentioned, I'll quickly mention that because of what happened with this, the same-sex marriage thing, that before pre-colonial masters and all that, women were marrying women in Africa. And that is in the history. And then she came back to talking about Aba in Anambra State, where women were the frontline traders in history at the time. Women were directing the economy. They were the ones
in Aba.
Aba in Anambra State. They were the ones deciding what produce were going to be sold and how the market is ran. There was a title where women contest to take over. When you become that position, you are actually the one who have to come into the market and sit down before any dealings will happen in the market. And it sort of started getting shaky when the colonial masters wanted to do a bit of structuring, and they started registering lands in men's name. So that was sort of when the power shift started happening. So if you want to go back to the culture, you understand that our culture, from the originality of Africans, women are supposed to be at the front burner. Women were not supposed to be the second in terms of, a man has to come first. Women had their voices. They were able to push their ideas. They were able to sit on the economy, and they were able to do a lot of things. But when you listen to that speech and that research, it now looks like the gender inequality we're actually having came with this Christianity and religion that we the Western culture that we actually embrace now. So it made me think, really, because when anything is happening, when you talk about a woman, her career, her marriage, her choices, we scream culture. Even when you talk about indecent dressing, Google it or research. If you go for this research, you realize that Africa as a whole was not wearing clothes. No. Right? So, so when you want to talk about decency, I mean, look at the culture is what you want to use to defend it, then we can also use the same culture to tell you that there is really nothing like decent dressing. But look at the Igbo culture, for instance. The Benin culture is not to tie wrapper here. Igbo culture is a small this thing here and a small, very short skirt with beads on the waist. Even in the Benin, they also do the same thing. So culture is an interesting thing. So we really, if you look at our cultural attire, we really don't have clothes that we put on. It's very interesting when it comes to culture and what is expected of women, because women had more power before the colonial masters came. You know, and but interestingly, even in Ghana, they still have women still have that power in Ghana. You know, but let me bring in our guest. Temi Omotola is a social entrepreneur and host of Thriving Canadian Migrants podcast with over 15 years career experience in IT. She's also a coach and an online course creator. And she's joined us live from Canada. Hi.
Hello.
So you heard our banter. How are you? How is Canada?
Yes, I'm very well. It's kind of getting colder, but it's good.
Okay, awesome. All right, so you heard our banter on this conversation of the role of women in economy and social change. And of course, Elsie took us down history lane. Exactly. You know, but tell me, in your summation, right? Because let's set a foundation for this conversation. Do you think that women truly deserve that to be handed that responsibility for social change and economic growth in any society?
Any society that does not encourage and empower women has a lot to lose. Because women are known to be awesome multitasker. A woman can be married, with kids, have a career, and juggle it all together, and there'll be no issues. Like, she could do it. If you change the role to being a man, they probably will be able to handle just the business front. And if you give them like a 1-year-old, they don't know what to do about it. And I like the submission about women in Africa going way back to holding important posts. They were in the forefront. They were entrepreneurs, even with little or no education. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I could remember my great-grandmother built a old house with no support. They would walk on foot for days to do their businesses, and they succeeded. So what really happened? How did that change to us not thinking women should be in the back seat? A woman should not be in the back seat. We are powerful. We are enough. And it all boils down to a repressive mindset that thinks a woman is a second fiddle. We're not a second fiddle. The Bible did not even tell us we're second fiddle. We are helpmates in terms of partnership. Without a woman, it's not going to come full circle for Adam. So we are helpmates as a commander-in-chief. As a commander-in-chief, and not just someone you push and relegate to the back. Any woman, even if any woman is an influencer, even if you're saying, okay, you're not in business or you're not in the professional line, you're raising a family, you're directly impacting the society by raising kids. And the quality, your mindset, the quality of your mind determine the quality of kids that you're going to raise.
You know, it's so interesting when she talked about women. You know, I remember when I first went to Delta State, Abraka to be precise. That was the first time in my life that I would see women very early in the morning, some of them on their bicycles, some of them on their Okada.
Till now.
Going to, yes, till today, till tomorrow. They are the ones that go to farm, you know, unlike other societies.
And even in that history, you realize that even in farming, women were the ones doing the major farming. Men were only doing yam farming because of the weight of yam underneath the soil. But when it came to cassava, vegetable, and every other thing, women were in charge of that part of farming. So women had a lot to do. But I'd like to ask Temi, you've lived in Nigeria, now you're in Canada, right? You've experienced both culture.
I was going to go there.
What would you say is that line? Where do you think we're getting it wrong in terms of the upbringing and the mindset of these different climes?
Do you know the funny thing I realized? We are all suffering from the same repression. We are all suffering from the same repression. In fact, Africans had it better.
Really?
And that's the truth. So I came in, career in IT, came in here, found a job, and all that. And I decided to have one more kid. I have 3. And I begin to realize all the women on my streets were stay-at-home moms. All of them. The few that eventually go back to work do part-time, 2 days a week. So in Africa, we've had it better. We are stronger. But their system has been more supportive in terms of you can have a year off and no sweat. The mindset about being a provider and a protector for women is still there. Unlike Africa, you will provide, you will still be the woman. You know, so there is more support for the women folk. There is lesser pressure on them, unlike from Africa as we know it. But aside from that support from the system and the mindset of the men generally, I think we have it better in terms of strength and our ability to just keep going for it. We are way stronger in that regard. Recently, I joined 12 other women and we wrote a book, She's Enough, right? And the thing that keeps shouting out to me while we're having like teams meeting is the fact that regardless of your race, your culture, your background, your professional level, you definitely have something that has been repressing you as a woman. There's been a conditioning that has repressed you, that has made you feel you're not enough at one point or the other. So the job to have this mindset shift It's not particular to a race. It's not particular to color. It's not particular to country, even.
You know,
go ahead. I coach women. There was a woman I'm coaching recently, like now. She came to me and she cries like, I feel I'm not doing enough. And she's not African. She's not African. I feel I'm not supported enough. I feel I can do more. That feeling of not being enough, that feeling of you can do more, it cuts across countries, continents, race.
All right, thank you, Temi. We need to go.
Yeah.
Let's go on a very short break, because it's interesting while she's saying this, it just brought to mind when Hillary Clinton was running for presidency. You know, there was still a lot of pushback. You understand? This is the society that claimed that, there's freedom and all of that for women. So if you are smart as a person, you would know that this repressive nature, repressing a woman, is actually global. You know what? When we come back from the break, I'll take Izzy's questions. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat with Temi on the role of women in economy and social change. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right, so Izzy, it's so interesting. When I hear conversations like this, I just chuckle because, again, I don't think we're also doing it right now, because you see that globally there's a lot of attention that is being paid to women. Yes. Anything that has to do with the girl child, the woman, and all of that. I think that is also creating an imbalance in the structure. Really? Yes, I think so. You know, because for me, I think
we still need to pay more attention to the men.
For us to be able to get a headway and not make the mistake, because where we are today is the mistakes that we made many years ago. So if we do not want to make that mistake again, we create a balance from now and start to build both, because there's just so much attention on the girl child and on the woman. Do you think it's too much? And maybe you can now probably throw your question to
I don't think it's too much, however, but I think that there should be a balance between the male child and the male folk and the female folk, because the more we talk about the male accepting the female for who they are and supporting them. You know, there was something she said that actually struck me. Having a support system that works for every female is important. So if the male can support the woman can go a long way and can even go farther than what the male actually planned for her. So, or the woman herself actually planned for herself in the first place. So it's essential that there is a support system. But my question to her is about the workspace. Now, we have looked at women doing a lot of things, you know, from being in the management sector or managerial positions. And one thing that actually struck us that we looked at was when they said that the higher you go, the fewer women you get to see. So how does this affect the role of women in social engineering?
This is really deep. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
So how do I even start? So the approach I've seen corporates take recently is to educate the woman, to go to train her on how to be a better person, on how to be a better manager, on how to talk, and, you know, all those mindset. But really, what we really need is more managers that support us so we can get there. Do you understand? If the people in the board, they don't have a mindset to support a woman, they would not be able to tolerate the fact that a woman has a womb, and by biology, we should be the one to have a kid, for instance. And we can go on mat leave and come back and still be able to function. Like, our brain don't go on leave if we go on mat leave. Like, we're still working. So one of the challenges we see is the family end, a woman being able to still hold it up in the family end, a woman being able to still work 100%. You know, you cannot give 100% of yourself while you still have all this other part of you to cater for. Now, that's not a crime. That's not a crime. So a woman should be supported and given, I mean, usually those are the things that usually go against a woman. From I can cite some experience, whereby the fact that you've taken time off work and just because you have to, right? And on coming back, you're seeing like, oh, your career needs to relegate for a little bit. If we see less of that, more women will begin to rise.
Okay, so in talking about maternity leave, I know we're having conversations regarding paternity leaves as well, and some companies, or a lot of companies, are beginning to embrace that, because we can actually agree that women need that support from their partner at that very crucial stage of their lives, right? So do you think that having more paternity leave might bring a sort of balance? Because if I'm taking a break and he's taking a break as well, and we have to come back to the table, maybe there will be a level of balance. Because to be honest with ourselves, if you leave a company for 6 months, I mean, things would have happened, right? Progress would have happened. A lot would have been said. Memos would have been passed. In a progressive company, not a company that isn't progressing. If you're talking of a fintech company, if you had, say, 1,000 subscribers, you are hoping to maybe triple that in that space of 6 months. Absolutely. So do you think that would work? And secondly, this feeling of not being enough, you mentioned it while you were responding to my question earlier. Why do we always get to that point where, even with being a mother, with having children, raising children, being that bedrock of the society, a lot of women still feel like they are not enough? Why?
Absolutely. Imposter syndrome is one of it. Even when you're doing well, you just feel like maybe you're not meant for this. Also, cultural. The mindset, how have you grown up? Every woman needs to be solid on the inside. You need to know you're enough. Then anything life throws at you, you'll be able to handle it. But if you're not solid on the inside, you'll be easily swayed by people's comments, people's reaction, you know. You can easily be swayed by that. But when you're solid on the inside and you're patient, because women tend to be more patient than men, right? And very strategic. Know it that the world is not really set up against you. That's one thing that came to me recently. The world is not set up against you, really. More often than not, especially when you can deliver, regardless of who you are, where you've been, when you can deliver, they're actually shocked and they're trying to figure it out themselves.
Okay,
so a woman.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
A woman needs to be solid on the inside. You need to believe in yourself. If you need to hire a coach, please, by every means, do it. Because the world is waiting for you. The world is in earnest waiting for you to show up.
Okay, there is also this misconception. Can I?
Go ahead.
Okay, there is also this misconception also that because women are already doing a lot of work in the workspace, and they're kind of distracted in the course of working or facing their career path. Now, this has made the family structure suffer. So do you think this has had any effect in the family structure currently?
It does.
Especially in Africa.
It's especially in Africa.
Yeah.
I have a friend, the moment she was done with her 3 months maternity leave, 3 months maternity leave with a set of twins, she was back to work. She was back at Lagos Business School, running a doctorate degree program. How can you balance that? It's not possible. Let's not deceive ourselves. So that pressure just needs to be reduced for the woman folk. The pressure to perform, the pressure to be the best, the pressure to keep pushing, that needs to stop. She's enough. She's enough.
So I was going to ask,
the breeder.
You know, I get you. So I wanted us to come back to the question or the conversation for today that says the role of women, you know, the role of a woman in an economy, right? And, you know, of course, the impact it has on social, the social impact it would also have in that economy. Apart from the economy part, there's also a social part. So if we were to chart a course to say, okay, these are clear blueprints that if a woman is put here, here, and here, these are the kinds of impacts that would be felt. If you had like a blueprint that you could paint for us, what would that be?
A woman should be in executive positions. She should be part of the decision makers. Just because we are intuitive and we are creative, and using that creativity with our professional experience and professional knowledge cannot be bought anywhere. Repressing her has not done good to anybody. Maybe if more women are allowed space in the society, we would not be where we are today. Everybody, everywhere, they're having one issue or the other. And nobody knows what they're doing. We've not figured it out yet. Give women chances, please. They are enough.
So are you looking at positions like the president of Nigeria, the Inspector General of Police? I mean, if a woman is given the role to be the Inspector General of Police, what do you think would happen to crime in the country? You know, and so probably the president of the United States.
You mentioned the police, because I've noticed that women have not really climbed the ladder in that force.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I do not personally believe a woman needs to be not necessarily be competing in that way. I feel the pressure the society has dropped on us has made us derailed on our original path. We need to go back to Eden, go back and discover our purpose and chart our line. Leave the men to do what men should do.
So what do you think our original path is? Temi?
Our original path is not to compete.
No, but we're not competing. So the question was,
a lot of women are competing.
No. Women are competing. So have you seen the chicken? When the chicken is when she has her chicks around her, right? Yeah. I mean, there was a very, very apt video that I saw online on social media where a snake was coming to a small pit where the chicken was with her chicks. And the hen was right there. As soon as the hen sighted the snake, it just jackpot, you know, and left the chicken. But you could see that the mother hen, she was all over, you know, she fought and kept on until all her chicks were safe and out of that space where the danger was approaching. So my point is, for instance, in security, so this is not a conversation of trying to be like a man, no. It's a conversation of, do you think with the kind of emotion that we wield and the kind of compassion that we have on our inside as women, maybe positions like, we're trying to solve security challenges, for instance, in Nigeria. So I'm just saying that, do you think that those kinds of roles, maybe if it's handed over to a woman, we might actually see some level of progress in terms of combating security? That's the question. So it's not a us and them situation. It's not a fight for position situation.
Right. I hear you now. So what my response is going to be about that is, maybe we need to create innovative roles that a woman can fit in and as well deliver. Do you understand? Maybe it's time to be innovative. Innovation is when you take things that you're doing normally, old things, and you mix it with new ideas and make something new out of it. Not necessarily be the IGP or the president. Maybe there are some unique roles that need to be developed and women empowered to take over, to deliver, to help the society, to help us solve these problems.
Isn't like that relegating the woman to the background?
Should be a president or an IGP.
Yes.
It's not about relegation. It's like you have a chief of army staff. A chief of army staff is powerful in his own rights. He may not be the president, but he's powerful. Now, when you empower the woman uniquely, to fit in. That's innovation.
Anyway, I wanted to respond to what you were saying regarding women and leadership. And I mean, as much as we've had a Stella Adadevoh, we've had a Dora Akonyele, I do not agree that women are better than men, right? As much as I also do not agree that men are better than women. I think there are good women, there are good leaders that are women, and there are bad leaders that are women as well. We can mention names if we need to, right? Same goes for men as well. So, I mean, I agree with looking for innovative ideas to get things done. But because I'm getting this vibe from you, like it is impossible for a woman to be a president or an IGP or hold those sort of powers, then it's difficult for me to agree with you on that level, right? But I agree with you when it comes to saying that this is not a competition. And I think it is that burden we put on ourselves regarding competition that makes us burn out. Of course, considering the fact that we are the nurturers, we are the one who have to bring children forth, right? So that is a role already. That's a big deal. But when I mean, look at the person you talked about. You had triplets, 3 months, and you're going. I mean, I think that is too much, right? But she will tell you she's career-driven, she's focused, she knows what she wants to do. But a doctor who cares about her life will be able to tell her she's pushing it. I mean, it's too much. So I think we need to get to that point where we understand that we are in this together, and we need to begin to harness the strength that comes from each gender. There are peculiar strengths for a man, there are peculiar strengths for a woman, but I have to categorically say that a woman can be the IGP and a woman can be the president.
Let me cut in there, right? I'm not saying a woman cannot be an IGP or president. I'm saying from where we are right now, if we start innovating roles, we can grow there. It's better than where we are right now. Like most women are not given chances right now. So we can start from creating, innovating roles and grow into it.
Take our space. Okay.
If it's not going to be possible to jump up into it, like for heaven's sakes, the VP of America was going to be a president. She had to trade.
Okay, Isi, I'll come to you. Let me take a comment. It says, hello, hyperinflation has become a... Oh, okay. No, that was yesterday. Person is watching on GoTV. Oh, wow.
I think women are the way they are today because a lot of pressure has been placed on us, which was what our guest has spoken about. But you can still blame the woman for striving to do as much as she wants to, because so much is expected from the woman. If the woman decides to, go the extra mile no, let me rephrase this. A man doesn't do as much as a woman has to go through to get something done. For example, if a man gets a degree, for example, he can walk into an establishment and get a job. But a woman has to prove herself and say, hey, look, I can do this job.
Even with the same degree.
Even with the same degree.
Yeah.
So that is why the woman goes the extra mile and believes that it's her role, it's her duty to step in and do what she's supposed to do. With that being said, I would like to ask you this question. We look at individuals, we look at women as the best thing that has ever happened to the society.
Yes, sir.
Okay? But do you really think that what we are projecting today in our society with the social, should I call the word social social interaction? There are some narratives that women are actually trying to pass across. And because we have younger ones who are actually looking up to us, we are passing the wrong narrative to these young ladies. Looking at social media, looking at the way we dress in a particular way, okay? I would suggest, what is your take on this?
So I believe that more women need to come out and talk. More women need to be part of this conversation. Trust me, I don't want to come out. I want to sit down, just be scrolling through my phone, right? Just like everybody. But I find out that people that have this knowledge, the people that have this solid background and information, they're not coming out to talk. And more women need to join the conversation. You cannot keep quiet and complain. Do you understand? So more women with the idea should come up, do something about it. Create your own platform.
Well,
time, right?
Time is never our friend.
Have 1 minute?
No, you don't have 1
Please,
minute. Quickly.
Quickly, I just would like to say, remember the story you took? I don't know, I think you were done took it about the judge in some African country saying that a woman giving birth to children is
entitled to be paid
for doing that.
Yes.
And I'm not saying we have to take that hook, line, sinker, but all I'm saying is, as a woman, especially if you're a mother and you're holding a home together, you are enough. Like, you don't have to overperform to understand that you are the bedrock of the society. So I need you to just believe in yourself and know that you are enough.
Okay,
go the
woman.
extra mile if you want to.
Yeah.
Get a career if you want to, if you can, but please, you are enough.
You know, the main drivers of today's economy, they say SMEs are the main drivers of the economy. And who are the people that are driving the SME front? Women. So it is beyond just, so when we're serious about these things, and I thank God for some banks, I would have loved to mention their names, but they have not paid us money to mention it. But you can see that at the forefront, they are projecting businesses, pushing, funding, giving grants and all of that, because they understand the power that these women are wielding for the economy. So, and it cuts across social change as well. Imagine if we have more educated women, you have less population wahala to deal with. All right, so we have to go. Thank you so much, Temi. We've had a fantastic conversation with you. Thank you, EC Ofodile. Thank you, Elsie Godwin. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can drop a comment, and more importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand and following the conversation. So do well to follow us. Some giveaways will be announced next week. Yeah, finally. Do well to follow us now. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. A woman is a full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. I think this is a powerful quote. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.